Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today we're going to be doing a full citywide tour, which is getting more and more tricky as the city really doesn't fit into one shot from any angle now. And also I'm even dressed for the occasion today. Now first of all I wanted to run absolutely all the motors. And last time I did this, I got kind of reminded afterwards that I hadn't actually been doing all the motors because I'd forgotten the motorised helicopter above my harbour area, and I'd even forgotten to turn on my huge Vestas wind turbine. So we've got both of those on today, I have remembered. Also we've got the white passenger train today going to our new train shed, which is going to be updated to a Mark II train shed that's going to be much bigger and much better. There's just one look forward to the future. Obviously we've got the big cargo train going along there. We've got the motorised tram, which I think is absolutely fantastic on the monorail system. And then we've got a very firm favourite being the subway, which is coming along, I can assure you. Maybe it's not set fast enough. There we go. Always love looking at that. And I've got the GBC building on. So we can only see that really from this side with the odd ball whizzing round that balcony, and maybe a few glimpses of balls through the window. But that's looking really good as well. And incidentally, if you haven't given me your support for the GBC building on LEGO Ideas, then it'd be really appreciated if you would do so. It's very easy. The link is in the description below. It takes 2 minutes to register and they won't bombard you with junk, so I think it is very worth doing. Right, just to reduce the sound level slightly, I am going to turn off some of these motors and probably go over to the second standing hall so we can look at some of the more recent progress in the city. Oh, that's a relief to turn off most of those motors. The noise really does build up. And that's nothing yet because we've got the entire fairground, of course, to come with its many, many motors and many, many different rides. I've left the subway on temporarily just because I think it's one of the best features of the city, where it just suddenly pops into one station. And if we quickly lean over there, we'll be able to see it in the second standing hall. Hey! Yeah, that's definitely one of the best features of my city. And while I had the step ladder out, just because I was doing some work around the plains the other day and around near the farm, I thought I'd give you this elevated view, because I see this room, LEGO room, most days, if not every day, but you usually see it just in small sections periodically, so I thought it might be really useful for you to kind of see a view of all of it together. To see how it kind of all meshes together from above. And I think the areas that I finished, you'll see are very dense and very kind of overlapping and look really, really kind of like a real city in a way. Like, I mean, virtually every square inch, apart from perhaps this bit over here, is covered in that view. But the main purpose of the video today is to also celebrate the last 25 videos, because I do try and do one of these periodically. And we've had some really good stats over the last 25, which is only since kind of Christmas really, but we've had another 2,200 subscribers, and we've had so many view minutes that it actually all adds up, would you believe, to 7 years worth of viewing, 24 hours a day. Well, it would take one person to view all of the footage that you have collectively watched on the channel just since Christmas. Pretty much New Year, actually, the last 8 weeks. So, well done. That's all I can say. I find these figures absolutely staggering. And that is well over 400,000 views. So, not much for one of the mega channels on YouTube, but still quite a lot for me. And you can see one of the other main areas of development so far this year has been the fairground. How many rides have we got now? We've got the 2 big ones, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smaller rides and stalls, all motorised, and they will be forming part of the fairground on these 2 tables here underneath me. So there's still plenty of room to fill. Obviously I have to coordinate all of that, and I've started by lowering this first table. I think that process is going to be a very long one, but nonetheless I think the outcome will be very noisy and very exciting to watch. Cool. So just getting all of the motorised things that we've currently got going all at once is a bit of an exercise, because I have to crawl under the tables, I have to crawl under the bridges to get to the door and all that, just to turn on all of the existing devices. So it's going to be a ton worse when I've got all of those going as well. So this will be probably the best standing hold to see it all moving from in the future when we're going with everything motorised. Especially when you've got the view of the back of the GBC factory, which I genuinely think has got a better chance than Fast Food Corner ever did of becoming a real life set, just because, well, it's not a modular essentially, and it's quite a novel idea, if I do say so myself, of combining kind of a city theme with the GBC theme. So if you do want one of these in your city or in your house as a display piece, just to watch and listen to, then do give it a vote using the link below. Turn that off to stop the plinky plonk. And of course the other motorised bit on this side of the room is the monorail, which we will be extending right up to the edge of the standing hole, where I think it will be kind of like most facades in a way, that it will stop dead with the inference that it continues on into the distance. And I will have it so the tram itself can go down this path and then will bounce back from the edge, kind of as if it had vanished and another one had appeared in its place. And I do think the monorail system is probably one of the best things that Lego's ever done. It really has put Brick Nottingham on the map, much like cities like Brockway, Ogdenville and North Haverbrook. So that's good to see. Now, another motorised bit that we can see from this side is the haunted subway, which still looks absolutely amazing, even though it's nowhere near Halloween's. And it usually runs with these three carriages using the what I call toothpaste stripe, or what everyone from the Netherlands calls the Dutch flag, but nonetheless. But one idea I did have was to change things up and actually incorporate my minis from the Italian job. So you'll see I've got the three minis charging past the farm in the fields at the moment, but they're all a bit raised, and that's because I've built kind of a little carriage on the bottom, so it's got tram wheels and little cords so they can all be pulled along. Now I was doing this so I could experiment in replicating the scene from the film The Italian Job, where the minis are all running around in the subway. So I thought I could kind of tag them all onto the end of this train and have the whole procession going around the underside of Brick Nottingham. So I'll show you how that looks, and you can decide for yourself whether I should keep it. Okay, so here we are in the haunted subway station, and it just occurs to me that basically when I said I had absolutely everything motorised running, I didn't, because I didn't have my haunted train running, the one mounted on a Duplo base that pings around making a lot of noise. So I still haven't got that right. One day, I'm sure I will get absolutely everything motorised going. I won't forget it. It just shows how many things I've actually got in this city now. Anyway, back to the Italian Job minis. I've attached them in kind of a string next to the engine car. And the reason why I've taken out the other two is just because of weight. Much like my cargo train that's incredibly long with its, what is it now, 16, 18 carriages, something like that. And the three engines, it is all confined by the amount of weight and kind of friction and resistance that the system gives. So if I have all three carriages and all three minis, then it really, really struggles to get round. In fact, it struggles quite a lot now. So if I just give this a good bit of welly, because if I just crank it up very slowly, it doesn't have the energy to kind of get going to break the inertia. So I'm going to crank this. And you'll see it does pull all three, and I think we can follow it slightly under the tables. You can see the drinks cans that I use to support the upper layer, and there are the headlights of that engine. So come back to our station. Oh, you see it. Oh, that's it skidding on the corners, if you can hear that. It really doesn't like it. But then it does look quite funny. You see that sort of jerky motion. So I think that's why I probably won't include the Italian job scene for underneath the subway. I suppose what I could do is have one following it. But then again, I'm not sure how much sense that makes. So I thought I'll probably have, oh, it doesn't like that, a different scene for the minis after all. But it was definitely worth a good try. Right, so I've taken those back out so they can be charging through the fields as they were before for now. And talking of fields, this is one of the main things that we've done, if not the main thing, over the last 25 videos, being the farm. It now extends quite a long way, right onto the windowsill, with the one bit that isn't finished being the field of wheat that the combine harvester will be harvesting in that corner, so that will be completely full and will be one of the many facades in the city, with the essence of it going off into the distance and being a very large field indeed. But I think that whole scene is absolutely fantastic, from the alien making a crop circle to our wonderful goat Alex on his bales of golden hay, to the hilarious explosive pig scene. So there we go. Lots and lots to look at and enjoy those. So I'd definitely recommend that for a series of videos. In the last 25, we've done the majority of these rides, as I said earlier. I think my favourite might be this stall, being the shooting gallery with the targets going round and round. The pirate ship probably needs a bit more work, and they'll all need work scene setting and embedding. I've got a couple of pirates out for this one, for example, and a skeleton. We had that ride already. There's the vertical drop one, that's really good fun, the space spinner and the space rocket. So lots of really good rides there. Other things that we've done in the last 25 videos. Well, we did that wonderful road tutorial using the new road system. That was a really popular video actually, so I'm quite happy I did it. I've got no plans to incorporate those roads in my city, at least not as a significant proportion of it. Maybe I'll do a little area in the sort of yet to be developed section to our left as I currently stand. We also put in the police station, the new modular, and started converting the top floor into the super secret police, oh there's that noise again, base. And there's a lot more work to do on that, converting the top floor inside and taking over all of this roof space to make it super secret police as well. Yep, there's that noise again. So that was a really good development. And I think one of my favourite views now is kind of looking down this road. There is a gap just after the GBC building that will be filled relatively soon, I hope. But it's a really good view with that space tower, with its massive dish at the end, fast food corner there and so on, and that Soap and Suds advert. I think it looks really fantastic, so that's excellent. Yeah, so this area is really coming together, and I've even ordered the tiles for a bike lane, so we can kind of have that along this section here maybe, because I think the pavement's wide enough, but then maybe not now in front of the police station. I'll have to think about that. Other things we've done in the last 25 have been loads of train carriages, including our GBC ball transporter and that twin tank transporter just behind it with the Octan logo on it now. And most recently, of course, we did our refrigerated train wagon, which is right back here with its wonderful fish doors and its contents of not fish, but penguins, because the penguins have eaten all of the fish. And I will be adding another penguin to the outside, I think, as many people have suggested, so I'll give you a bedoing later. And the last thing that we did in the last 25 videos, of course, was the train shed. Now this caused a lot of debate in the comments section over whether this should be open-sided at all, or open-sided towards the city as we've currently got it, or towards the harbour area. Whether it should be bigger, smaller, and definitely shouldn't have ballast on the inside with grass either side. And I think I agree with elements of all of those points. So I will be doing a Mark II of the train shed, which will definitely fix the inside. And I think it will be better and bigger as well, inside and out. So look out for that one. But I really like it as kind of the barrier in between the wonderful harbour area, which still needs more work. I need to do a lighthouse kind of behind the helicopter and so on. Probably some more boats as well. The barrier between it and the city itself. And I know some criticism was that you couldn't now see the children's playground or park quite as well. And that is true. But what I quite like about my city is the fact that you kind of have to get into all the standing holes. You can't see it all from one position, and you kind of have to get in and have a good look around to see absolutely everything, because there's stuff hidden behind other stuff, and without really getting into it fully, you just won't appreciate all of those many layers. I mean, I always like this view because you've kind of got 4 rows of buildings, one behind the other. The Green Paradise Cafe, then the first run of shops, then the modular row, and then the facade row at the back. And indeed, the facades are a good example of that detail. We've actually got interiors on all of the condos here, including my favourite scene with a naked man on a ledge, and even Sauron in his flat above that. Or is it my favourite facade, actually? Because another really fun hidden area is the building site facade, of course. I mean, I think that is a really good, funny scene. Might not even focus on it, but I'll try and get it in there. You can always watch its dedicated video, because do remember that absolutely everything you see has got its own video if you just find it in one of my playlists. Yeah. So this area is, apart from pavements, I think, and some street details and so on, is probably completely done. At least for the first pass. A lot of people ask me what I'm going to do when the room is full. And I think they think that that's going to be, any day now. It really isn't. I mean, I've got absolutely loads of work to do. One thing I'll be doing that's not currently visible, of course, is my Undersea Area, which you've probably heard all about if you watch any of my brick hauls. Been buying pieces galore for that. But we will be doing a lot of work around on the fairground, of course, and all of the far corner, which is kind of over there near the door to the closet as well. So there is absolutely loads to work on. And then I'll come round for a second pass. That's what I was getting at. So when I do a second pass, I'll be fixing all the areas I didn't like, and maybe filling in all of the gaps that are left, and even doing things like interiors of buildings that I never got around to. I mean, wherever there's any blank wall space, like here and here, it doesn't really need a facade right now, but I think I definitely would fill that sort of space on a second pass. Oh, and I love this run of shops as well. Lego should look like Lego and be really good fun if you ask me. So having open back buildings makes sense as long as you can't see into them from the main viewing angle. And I think that those ones are really good examples where not having a back actually makes them a lot lighter. If they had a back on, you wouldn't be able to see so much of the interior. There's the Krusty Krab, fish and chip shop, and our beach scene. Somebody asked where the person relieving themselves in the sea was. They are still here. There he is. And a lot of people's favourites. Sunburnt man. Fell asleep in the sun, and now he's feeling the pain. Ooh. Mini golf course. Now, another one of my aims, which I'm doing pretty much too often by some people's standards, is to make the cargo train kind of chase its own tail. And you can see at the moment with the pump wagon, which is one of my favourite builds, right at the back, where, well, how close are we to doing 2 sides of the whole thing? If we go, follow that all the way along, I think we're nearly there. I mean, that's nearly at the corner there. Golly, we'll have to have a party when we reach halfway, won't we? There's our wonderful crab boat, which I'm thinking of incorporating with my undersea scene by having it kind of pulling up one of these crab pots, kind of a link from the surface to the underneath. I do like this new modular, the police station. I think the back of it is very attractive, so I think it looks really good backing onto my railway line. And I think that's a great way of using these modulars backing onto a railway line, because you wouldn't have the fronts of buildings all showing there. And then our massive main station with its link to the monorail up the steps, and that main building there. Very good. And then follow the rest of the path and you'll end up at the airport, of course, with the taking off plane. I do like that. It's just funny, hanging a plane and putting it at an angle really makes a difference. Incidentally, those are the two planes we've readjusted in the last videos. Looking good. And then a real old school favourite. I wonder if LEGO will be bringing back Castle in the next year. They have had part one of the vote. Looks like it's going to be tied between Classic Space, Castles and Pirates, of course. But I don't know which one I want. All of them, that's the answer. But I've got Brick Nottingham Castle covered, so that's fine. Now, one temporary scene I've added for the day is the Mayor of Brick Nottingham, who is one of the very few people without yellow skin, and that's just because she's used a heckload of fake tan, which is why she's this funny colour compared with the other yellow minifigures. And she's doing a press conference with all these microphones planted on her lectern, because she is unveiling something incredibly special. And that is a commemorative statue. Yes, it is the commemorative statue that is modelled on Robin Hood and the real life statue in real life Nottingham, but also me with my red feather in my hat. And I think that is a really quite ornate and bold statue. And I was kind of working out where to put it in the city. And it just seemed that was a very sort of large space of tileage that didn't have anything on apart from the car that's permanently stuck between my two rail lines. And I thought that would be a good place for it to be seen very widely. And just to make the temporary scene even more funny, I've got the Mayor of Derby, spelt with an E, that is our neighbouring city in real life. And he's got his #1 mayor banner on because he thinks he's the best mayor in the Midlands of England. But he's not. No. But he's very angry because he's jealous at the unveiling of such a wonderful statue in such a wonderful city. So just a playful dig at the neighbouring town. I'm sure wherever you live has probably got a neighbouring city that you're kind of competitive with, and you have kind of grudge matches at sport and so on. So that is ours. Cool. Now, I was starting to tell you about my plans for the rest of the city, but I kind of got waylaid, distracted by wonderful scenes and things like the beehives that I've added with 2 beekeepers from the recent series minifigures to the top of this building. I ended up putting it there just because it was next to the lady with the beautiful flower garden, and I thought maybe the old guy and the old gal get together, and her flowers are visited by his bees. But I do have plans for absolutely everywhere in the city now. I think we've already said that those 2 tables are going to be populated by the fairground. I've got plans for a hotel in the gap here next to the airport. Where this big building site is temporary. That is going to be a very big development, but that is currently being designed. The rest of this street I really need to fill in, so we've got kind of one big gap another big gap and a small gap. So I think we'll need 2.5 buildings there, so to speak. And then this entire wall here will be filled with taller buildings, I'm hoping. Not ridiculously tall, but probably about the same as the Space Tower and the hospital. And then that last table with the light stand on it that will be reduced in height, actually, with another tabletop put on top of it. So it'll be very much like our kind of subway areas where we've got one table at street height and another one down quite a bit to give us quite a deep underground layer. And that layer, I think I will, well, that's probably not decided on, but it will definitely be underground scenes, because what I'm going to have in this corner, I think, is a bit of a mountain and the old mine series and things like that. So we'll have a gold mine and that will be leading to all sorts of interesting scenes underground as well. And then I need to fill in this area with cargo yard and a Coast Guard station, which I've just got a base plate for in my last haul. So yeah, lots and lots of things, but do be patient, because there's no way I can do all of them at once. Now what I love as the room starts filling up is views like this, where you can kind of look down Apollo Arcade in the old town and all of the scenes within it, but right behind that statue in the distance you can kind of see the monorail. You can see the farm right off in the distance, the airport control tower, and even a UFO. And it's just that vast distance in perspective that I think is really, really great to see. So, yeah. But I think we've kind of looked around the city quite a lot. If there's anything of interest that you've seen, then you really need to go back and check out the old back catalogue of videos. I do try and be as inclusive as possible with designs and so on, so you're able to copy them, which I welcome very much, incidentally. Go ahead. But I think that's enough for the tour of today, because I need to get focused on what we're building next. Well, 275 videos, I think you'll agree, is quite an achievement. I think when I started out, I wasn't necessarily certain by any means that I would get that far or have grown this much. So thank you all for all of your support. It is much appreciated. And I guess next time we do a tour, when it's 300 videos, I'll really have to do something quite special, won't I? Wow, that's a good view through there, isn't it? Fantastic. Yes, so thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. Do also remember to support my GBC factory. If you would, it would be appreciated. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out all of the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, well, we'll be doing a normal build, because it will be a Monday, then a haul on the Wednesday, and then Friday we'll be going back to the fairground to develop that even further. And I think we might be starting the groundwork there. So anyway, see you then.